That day in the middle of the ocean, Michael's eyes showed a desperation no one could believe. Who could have known that for the experienced sailor Michael, that day would become life's toughest test? This 42-year-old seasoned mariner had told his wife Sarah over morning coffee, "I'll be home early tonight, honey. We'll watch a movie with the kids." But now in the cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean, he was watching the final breaths of the 3,400-ton cargo ship Aurora. Michael had been at sea since he was 19. From the day he first stepped aboard a ship, he had witnessed thousands of storms and emerged safely from countless dangerous situations. But none were like today. The Aurora was a reliable vessel carrying timber cargo from Norway to England. It should have been a routine voyage with a 24-person crew. Michael was in charge of the engine room and was one of the most experienced sailors on the ship. During the morning watch, everything was normal. The engines ran perfectly, weather reports were favorable. But at 3 p.m., something completely unexpected happened. First, they felt a strange vibration. Michael was in the engine room listening to the motor sounds. He had been doing this job for 23 years and knew every sound the ship made. But this vibration was different, as if it was coming from the ship's heart. "This isn't normal," he muttered to himself. He immediately ran to the control panel, checking all the indicators. Everything looked normal, but the vibration was increasing. Just as he was about to call the bridge, the ship experienced a violent shake. Michael lost his balance and fell to the floor. When he got up, he realized the ship was listing to one side. Captain Wilson's voice echoed through the speakers. "All crew to emergency stations." "This is not a drill," I repeat. "This is not a drill." Michael's heart began racing. In his 23-year maritime career, he had never heard such panic in Captain Wilson's voice. This calm, experienced man now had fear in his voice that he was trying to control. Michael rushed from the engine room to the deck. The scene he saw shocked him. But what was truly shocking was the massive hole he saw on the starboard side. It looked as if a giant monster had chewed through the ship's side. Water was rushing in rapidly, and the ship was beginning to list heavily. Michael immediately assessed the situation. With years of experience, he understood the ship couldn't be saved. But the crew, his 23 friends, were still on the ship. Sarah's voice echoed in his mind. "You're too kind-hearted, Michael. You think of everyone like yourself." Yes, that's who he was. He couldn't think of his own life when his friends were in danger. On deck, there was complete chaos. Some crew members were preparing life preservers, while others were trying to gather their personal belongings. Michael raised his voice. "Guys, listen to me. The ship is sinking. We don't have time." Everyone turned to him. Michael's leadership qualities emerged in moments like these. "We're lowering the lifeboats. Everyone put on life jackets. Hurry." This is where everything changed. Second engineer David came running. "Michael, there was an explosion in the engine room. 3 people are trapped below." Michael's heart skipped a beat. Down below were young Tomas, old Frank, and newcomer Danny. All 3 were men under his responsibility. They had only 10 minutes to get to the lifeboats. But those 3 men. Michael hesitated for a moment. He thought of little Emma at home, his 8-year-old son Jake. He might never see them again. "Captain, there are 3 men below. I'm going to get them," he shouted. Captain Wilson looked at him in horror. "Michael, no!" "It's too late. The ship is sinking too fast." But Michael was already running. Frank's voice called after him. "Michael, come back! Don't sacrifice yourself for them." But Michael wasn't stopping. He was going down the stairs. Water had risen to his waist, each step becoming more difficult. When he reached the engine room door, he heard screaming from inside. He tried to open the door but couldn't due to water pressure. He pushed with all his strength, and finally the door cracked open. Inside, Tomas, Frank, and Danny were struggling in the water. "Michael, why did you come here?" shouted old Frank. "I couldn't leave you behind," said Michael, breathless. "Come on, we're getting out of here." But the water was rising very fast. It had almost reached their chests. Young Danny was overcome by panic. "We can't get out. We're going to die here," he cried. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. While Michael was trying to calm all 3, the ship experienced a sudden jolt. The lights went out. Everything went pitch black. Only Michael's flashlight provided light. Water had now risen to their necks. "Breathe, take deep breaths. said Michael. "I'll go first. Follow me." But when they reached the door, they faced a terrible reality. The door was stuck. They couldn't get out. "Is there another exit?" asked Tomas in a trembling voice. Michael thought. Yes, there was an emergency exit, but to reach it, they would have to pass underwater. "Guys, listen to me carefully," said Michael. "We're going underwater. We'll hold our breath. I'll go first. Hold my hand." Danny started crying. "I can't swim, Michael. I can't do it." Michael grabbed his shoulders. "Look at me, Danny. I won't leave you behind. You understand? We're getting out of here together." Wait a minute. Don't miss this detail. While Michael was trying to give them courage, his family at home kept running through his mind. Sarah's last words, "Be careful, Michael. We love you so much." Little Emma hugging him with her small hands, Jake saying, "My dad is the strongest sailor." Would he never see them again? But now wasn't the time to think about these things. He had the life responsibility of 3 men in front of him. "Are you ready?" said Michael. "Take a deep breath." All 3 took a breath. Michael went first, diving underwater. The others followed behind him. The water was ice cold, getting harder every second. Michael saw the emergency exit in his flashlight beam. They needed to dive for 30 more seconds to reach there. But Danny had panicked. He let go of Michael's hand and tried to surface. Michael immediately caught him and brought him up. Danny coughed and shouted, "I can't do it. I'm too scared." Water had now risen to their chins. They only had a few minutes left. "Danny, look at me," said Michael in a firm but caring tone. "You're a young man. You have the right to live. I'm going to save you, but you need to trust me." Old Frank intervened. "Michael, leave us and go. Don't sacrifice yourself for us." "I'm not leaving anyone behind," said Michael with determination. "Either we all get out together, or we all stay together." These words touched all 3 of their hearts. They knew Michael's character. 7 years ago, this man had risked his own life to save a newcomer who had just joined the ship. Now he was doing the same thing. Second attempt. This time Michael took Danny in his arms. "You just focus on holding your breath," he said. "I'll handle the rest." Water had now risen to the ceiling. They took their last breaths and dove. Michael was trying to get all 3 men to the emergency exit, but he was struggling greatly. His lungs were burning. His eyes couldn't adjust to the water. But he wouldn't give up. What you're seeing now is nothing. When they reached the emergency exit, they tried to open the hatch but couldn't. The hatch was stuck due to water pressure. Michael pushed with his last strength. Frank helped too. Finally, the hatch opened. All 4 of them surfaced, reaching the deck. But the deck was completely underwater. The ship had almost completely sunk. "Where are the lifeboats?" shouted Tomas. They searched around but couldn't see anything. The other crew members had already left, taking the lifeboats. Michael's heart racing, he scanned the area. In the distance, maybe 200 meters away, he saw a lifeboat. "There!" he shouted. "We're swimming!" But the Atlantic water temperature was 4 degrees Celsius. They couldn't survive more than 10 minutes in this water. Michael knew this but didn't tell the others. "Guys, we're swimming very fast. Danny, you come behind me. Hold tight to my shoulders." The cold water began eating away at their bodies. Frank's lips were turning purple. Tomas was starting to shiver. You won't believe this, but as they swam toward that lifeboat, Michael wasn't just thinking about his family. He was also thinking about the 3 men beside him. Tomas's fiancée Maria was waiting for him. Frank had a grandson. Danny's mother had opposed her son becoming a sailor, but finally agreed. All 3 of these men had the right to live. The 200-meter swim felt like it lasted 2 kilometers. Their bodies were freezing. They couldn't breathe. Michael's muscles were starting to cramp, but he didn't stop. "Come on, guys, almost there!" he kept shouting. Finally, they reached the lifeboat. All 4 climbed into the boat. Inside, there were warm blankets, emergency kit with chocolate and water. "We're saved," said old Frank with tears. "Michael, you saved us." But Michael wasn't relaxed yet. He scanned the area, started searching for other lifeboats. He saw 2 more boats in the distance. "They're over there!" he shouted. He started the lifeboat's motor and headed toward the other boats. The first boat had 8 people. The second had 7 people. A total of 18 people were saved. But the crew was 24 people. 6 people were missing. Michael's heart ached. Captain Wilson was also among those saved. When he saw Michael, he was surprised. "Michael, how did you survive? We thought you were on the ship. We looked for you." "I got 3 men out of the engine room, Captain, but 6 people are still missing." The captain's eyes welled up. "You're a real hero, Michael. You risked your own life and saved those 3." But Michael didn't feel like a hero. 6 of his friends were missing, and he couldn't save them. The Coast Guard found them 4 hours later. They were taken to the hospital. All were healthy. But those 6 missing crew members were never found again. Michael lay in his hospital bed, constantly thinking about them. "I wish I had acted faster. I wish I had noticed earlier." He blamed himself. The next morning, Sarah and the children came to the hospital. Sarah hugged Michael tearfully. "I thought I lost you," she said. Little Emma was crying in her father's arms. "Daddy, you won't go on ships again, right?" Jake looked at his father with pride. "My dad became a hero, Mom. He saved 3 people." While Michael was talking with his family, Tomas, Frank, and Danny also came to visit. All 3 wanted to thank Michael. "Michael," said Tomas, "you became my second father. If you hadn't gotten me out of there, I wouldn't have been able to marry Maria." Old Frank also held his hands. "I'm 57 years old. I'll see my grandson's wedding thanks to you." But when they thought it was over, reporters came to the hospital. Michael's story had been heard throughout the country. Headlines read, "Sailor Michael risked his own life to save 3 friends." But Michael didn't want to give any interviews at all. "I just did my duty," he said. "Don't forget our 6 missing friends." The Coast Guard investigation began. They wanted to learn why the ship sank. Technical examination revealed metal fatigue in the ship's hull. The 15-year-old ship had weakened from constantly carrying heavy loads. That day, after taking the last load, it couldn't withstand it and cracked. After Michael left the hospital, he couldn't go to sea for a long time. At night, he dreamed of those 6 missing friends. Sarah told him, "Don't blame yourself, Michael. You did what you could." But he couldn't rest easy. He received psychological support, tried to overcome his trauma. But here was the really surprising part of the story. 3 months later, Michael received a job offer from a new shipping company. The person making the offer was one of the crew members who survived the Aurora and was now a partner in a large company. "Michael," he said, "I want to work with a brave and responsible man like you." Michael hesitated at first, but then he thought, the sea was his life. He couldn't run away from it. And maybe there were other Michaels on the seas who needed brave leaders. He accepted the offer, but with one condition. The ship's safety systems had to be perfect. Crew training had to be at the highest level. His new ship was named Hope, which meant hope. On Michael's first day aboard the ship, he said to the crew, "Friends, I'm Michael. I've been sailing for 23 years, and I learned one thing. Our most valuable cargo is our lives. We'll protect each other, we'll be responsible for each other." From that day forward, every time Michael sets out on a new voyage, he carries a small photograph in his pocket, a group photo of the 18 crew members who survived the Aurora, and on the back he had written, "The responsibility of survivors is to continue living." Sarah sometimes asks him, "Do you regret going down that day?" Michael always gives the same answer. "No, honey. Those 3 men are alive now. That's enough for me. And I became a father my children can be proud of." That's how Michael's story ends. A ship sank that day. 6 valuable people were lost. But a hero was also born. A man who disregarded his own life and protected the right to life of 3 friends. Michael showed one of humanity's finest examples by bringing hope out of the tragedy experienced at sea. And today, every time he looks at that photograph he carries with him, he remembers. Sometimes life gives you the toughest tests, but that's how real heroes emerge. If Michael's story touched your heart, if his courage inspired you, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories from the sea, tales of survival, rescue, triumph, and the unbreakable human spirit. Every story we share here carries the same message, that even in the darkest moments, hope survives, courage prevails, and ordinary people can become extraordinary heroes. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of story lovers. Because here's the truth. No fictional story can ever be as real, as powerful, or as inspiring as the real stories of real people like Michael. Our mission is simple: to give you hope, to show you that human courage knows no bounds, and to remind you that in every storm, there's always a lighthouse guiding us home. Welcome aboard.